Sophie, an artifact dealer, encounters a mysterious mirror with a dark past. The mirror's history unfolds through a letter and key, revealing a curse tied to misfortunes. Dismissing supernatural warnings, Sophie brings the mirror into her home, leading to unexplained events and the malevolent force tormenting her. Desperate for a solution, Sophie delves into the mirror's history, uncovers a journal detailing past horrors, and embarks on a quest to neutralize the curse. I loved going to the lake as a kid. What fascinated me the most was my reflection on the water and how I could see myself through it just like a mirror. One time, I got used to it and preferred something closer, like an actual mirror and artifact. I ended up going into the business of selling expensive artifacts and items discarded by the initial owners and wanted by other people. My sister, Lucy, always told me she couldn't do the kind of my job. She believed it had a lot of spiritual implications attached to it, but personally, I didn't believe in all the supernatural bullshit. I stayed alone in a studio apartment. I would have loved to live with my sister, but she stayed with her boyfriend, Jason. I drove over to my sister's house because we had plans of going out for dinner that afternoon. "You came pretty early today. Seems like you're less busy today. No mysterious artifact to sell?" "I don't sell mysterious artifacts, Lucy," I responded. "I sell items people abandoned and auction it for the highest bidder, and you know this," I told her for the umpteenth time. "And you don't ever wonder why it was abandoned and not needed?" she asked. "Let's leave this talk for who needs it, which isn't me." The sun is seen setting. We had a great time at our usual dinner spot, which we enjoyed eating out. As we came out of the restaurant, I decided to help a homeless guy out with some change. Then he started shouting, "It was right in front of you! It was right in front of you!" We were totally shocked and hurried into the car, wondering what we did to trigger him that much. I dropped Lucy off and headed home. On getting out of the shower, Lucy called me. I was shocked because there was no reason I could think of why she's calling.
"Hey boo, I forgot to tell you about an item someone wants to sell. A mirror,"
she said. I was surprised because my sister had never brought a job to me. However, I was excited to see the mirror. I told her I'll check it out the next day. The next day, I left for the location my sister sent to pick up the famous mirror. I got there and found out that it was at a moving company's warehouse. The mirror was covered with a big dirty white cloth. I asked the movers and they gave me an envelope saying the owners left these beside the mirror. I took the envelope and removed the cloth from the mirror. Immediately I removed the cloth. It was like love at first sight. I felt as though I was back at the lake. I loved to look at my reflection, the beautiful inscriptions written at the edge of the mirror complementing the ancient unique wood used to guard the mirror from any harm. After examining the mirror extensively, I opened the envelope up and found a letter and an old key. The letter read, "Dear Auction Manager, I am writing this to tell you to please throw this mirror away because it only brought sorrows, agony, and destruction into my life. If by chance you don't believe me and you end up selling it, make sure to pass this key to the next owner because he or she will need it." A lake is shown. 2 days went, and on the third day, I called my sister and told her about the mirror but left out the letter part. I convinced her that I needed to get the mirror for myself, which she totally agreed. I didn't want to believe that such a beautiful mirror could cause someone pain. I went and got the mirror and set it up beside my dresser. I was so tempted to throw the letter and the key away, but I decided to keep it just for memory's sake. A dark, windy night. Everything was great until one night. I was on my bed working on a project. I needed to finish when my line rang. I picked the call, but no response. The caller called again and I picked, but no response. At this point, I concluded it was maybe bad signal. My line rang again and I heard a strange voice. I could not understand what the person was saying and didn't know who it was. I said, "Wrong number," and I hung up. It rang 2 more times, but I didn't pick. The next ring, I picked in anger and shouted, "Who is this?" The voice said,
Sophie, I've told you to try and be controlling your temper.
I was too stunned to speak. Tears rolled down my eyes as I whimpered, "Dad, is that you?" Immediately, the phone went dead. I was so shocked I started shaking and forced myself to sleep. Rain heavily pouring. The next day, I went to work but couldn't concentrate. I went to eat lunch at the real restaurant. I was so disturbed that I barely touched my food. I packed it to take away. On leaving the restaurant, the same creepy homeless man started shouting, "It was right in front of you! It was right in front of you!" I didn't know when I shouted, "You're sick! You need help!" I ran to my car and drove off. I drove to my sister's place immediately and told her about the call I got last night and the homeless guy. She thought I was probably hallucinating and under stress from work. She advised me to relax more and shouldn't worry about the homeless guy. I figured that maybe I didn't hear what I heard. Just maybe it was my mind playing a trick on me. My dad had been dead for 10 years. A dead man can't call me. She calmed me down a bit. I went home and immediately fell asleep. I woke up in the middle of the night as night enveloped my apartment with an eerie silence. As I laid in bed, I couldn't shake off the unsettling feeling from the mysterious call and the homeless man's ominous warnings. The rain continues to pour outside, adding to the somber atmosphere. Maybe it was just a weird coincidence, I thought to myself. Dead men don't make phone calls. I tried to convince myself that it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. But despite my attempt to rationalize the events, a lingering sense of unease settled over me. As I drifted into a restless sleep, vivid dreams and haunting visions tormented me throughout the night. Sophie's apartment, morning. I woke up with a start, beads of sweat on my forehead. The morning light struggled to penetrate the heavy rain clouds outside. Determined to shake off the lingering fear, I decided to focus on my work. As I sat at my desk, my gaze was drawn to an ancient mirror. I thought that maybe there was some truth to the letter. I hoped that the mirror would not be connected to these strange occurrences. I reached for the letter and key, contemplating whether to heed the warning. Curiosity and skepticism battled within me. I then took it upon myself to dig deeper into the mirror's history. Library, day. I spent hours researching the mirror's origins. I uncovered a dark history tied to a cursed artifact that has allegedly brought misfortune to its owners throughout the centuries. Doubts crept into my mind as I read stories of inexplicable accidents, tragic losses, and unexplained phenomena linked to the mirror. I then thought to myself if these could be true or just a series of coincidences. Driven by a mix of fear and fascination, I decided to seek out the previous owner mentioned in the letter. Armed with the old key, I embarked on a journey to uncover the mirror's secrets. Old house, day. I arrived at the address mentioned in the letter, an old house with an air of abandonment. Cautiously, I unlocked the door with the old key and stepped inside, the air heavy with a sense of foreboding. As I explored the darkened rooms, I discovered remnants of a troubled past, old photographs, broken furniture, and faded letters. In a dusty attic, I stumbled upon a journal belonging to the previous owner, detailing the escalating horrors experienced after acquiring the mirror. The mirror holds a malevolent force, a doorway to the supernatural. It feeds on the deepest fears and regrets, bringing them to life. This sent shivers down my spine. I was not one to easily believe in this sort of thing, but this one was happening to me, and I felt like it was just a bad dream I needed to wake up from. As I delved deeper into the journal, I learned that the previous owner attempted various rituals and consulted experts in the supernatural to rid themselves of the mirror's curse. The pages recounted desperate struggles, but the malevolent force seemed insurmountable. This couldn't be real, could it? There has to be a rational explanation, I thought to myself. Yet, the evidence before my eyes challenged my skepticism. The journal ended with a plea for the mirror to be discarded, warning of dire consequences if passed on to another unsuspecting soul. Determined to break the circle, I contemplated destroying the mirror. However, an inexplicable connection, almost like a magnetic pull, kept me from taking such a drastic step. I needed to find a way to break this curse, not just for myself, but for anyone who might encounter this mirror. Sophia's apartment, night. I returned home, haunted by the revelations. The mirror loomed in my apartment, seemingly holding its secrets within the ancient wood. I was thinking of a way to break the curse without causing harm. But how? My research intensified as I consulted experts in paranormal phenomena, seeking guardians on neutralizing the mirror's malevolent energy. Days turned into nights and I became consumed by the quest for a solution. Each night, I was being tormented. I woke up one night with my wrist bruised and my head felt like it was hit on the wall. Every night that went by was hell for me. At some point, I opened up to my sister and we both put our heads together to find a solution. Although I could see the worry in her eyes, she tried hiding it to help me stay strong and hopeful. Library. I kept on going to different libraries to find a way out of this. Amidst dusty tombs and ancient scrolls, I uncovered a ritual known to rebuke malevolent spirits. The process involved a combination of ancient symbols, rare herbs, and a chant passed down through generations. I was so happy finding it because it might finally put an end to the suffering caused by this cursed mirror. With newfound determination, I gathered the required materials, set up the ritual space, and began the intricate process of breaking the mirror's curse. If someone would have told me I would be in this type of situation, I would have fought with the person to the last. Sophia's apartment, night. As I concluded the ritual that night, my room was engulfed with another worldly energy. The mirror seemed to absorb the ancient symbols and herbs. The blinding light from the mirror intensified, casting an unbelievable glow throughout the room. I could feel the weight of the curse lifting, a sense of victory mixed with agitation. Just as I began to embrace the newfound calm, the room echoed with a mysterious laughter. The mirror, now seemingly serene, revealed a reflection that wasn't my own. Instead, a shadowy figure that was turned into my sister, then shifted into my reflection. Fear gripped my heart as my reflection started laughing. The laughter echoed in the room. At this point, I thought I was going mad. My reflection began to speak in a haunting whisper. "You think you can break free so easily? You have merely unleashed me into your world." A chill ran down my spine as I stared at the malevolent entity now free from the confines of the mirror. The room darkened, and an ominous presence filled the air. The ancient wood that once guarded the mirror seemed to writhe with dark energy. Fear and regret flooded my thoughts. What had I unleashed? The curse wasn't broken. Instead, it had taken a new form. The ritual meant to dispel the malevolent force had unwittingly set it free, and now It lingered in my room with a sinister intent. My reflection within the mirror chuckled. You believe you could control forces beyond your understanding? Now you shall witness the consequences. The room distorted, and I felt a surge of power unlike anything I had encountered before. Days later. In the following days, my life spiraled into a nightmare. Unexplained occurrences and unsettling visions haunted my every waking moment. The malevolent entity, now free from the mirror, seemed to bask in tormenting me. My once peaceful apartment became a battleground between the supernatural and the mundane. Desperate and overwhelmed, I sought out experts in ancient curses and paranormal phenomena, but the entity proved resistant to conventional methods. The twist in my story, which I was too quick to think I was victorious, turned into a struggle for survival. Library, night. What will you do now? You're a shadow of yourself. I can't believe you hid this aspect of the mirror from me. I asked her to forget what happened and help me find a solution. I don't want anything to happen to you. I have been here with you since 3. I have to head home. I promised Jason I'll help him out with something. Call me if you find something helpful. As she left, I kept looking for a solution, but to no avail. I later stumbled on a ritual to be done, but it had its personal consequences, which was not said in the book. Later that night, I went home and tried doing the ritual, and the spirit appeared again. This time, it was fighting me with everything it got. I crossed into the supernatural realm. The air thickened with an otherworldly energy. It began taunting and challenging my resolve. I initiated the counterbalance ritual. The supernatural realm quaked. The entity fought back with a ferocity that defied understanding, but determination filled my every move. The entity screamed in agony. The room returned to an eerie calm, and the entity vanished, leaving behind a shattered mirror and a sense of victory. This victory did come with a price. Immediately the mirror was destroyed. Strange bombs engulfed my whole body. Initially, I thought they would go, but I guess that was the price I paid.